Hey, let's peek into the city of Warwick. They got a mayoral race too, you know.
The Dan York State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
Now, I don't know if it's I just don't know how competitive the race is in the city of Warwick, but it's one of our top communities, and Sue Stenhouse has been in that campaign for mayor now for a while, and she's running against Joe Solomon, the interim mayor, who stepped in from his council position when Scott Abedisian exited stage left for Ripter, as we call it here in Rhode Island. Interestingly, I think Mr. Abedisian is, at least at late, advocating for Ms. Stenhouse. And so this is going to be an interesting situation here on Election Day. I admit that we haven't had much conversation about it, but we shall this evening. So stay tuned. Great to have you in. Thanks for joining us on this Halloween. Halloween's always a good night for us because the TV's on, because the kids are ringing the doorbell back and forth. And by the way, if you're watching this at 7:30 and you got traffic outside, if you're watching this at midnight and you got traffic outside, you got a tough neighborhood. That's all I got to say. Or you got no discipline. Turn the lights off and send the message. But if you're watching at 7:30, just know, I saw data yesterday, it was alarming. 46% increase in pedestrian accidents on Halloween night. 46%. So you really got to be careful. Knock it down 10 miles per hour. Actually pay attention to those 15 and 20 mile per hour signs in your neighborhood. And just know that any kid could come flying out of any place behind any car at any time. And you know that because they're all excited and they're running on adrenaline. So please be careful out there. All right, in the meantime, the Trump amendment situation here, he's just gonna scratch out the 14th. Where in heaven's name did he get this idea? Here's the network.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are calling the president's bluff, saying he cannot single-handedly end the constitutional right to citizenship for babies of non-citizens and unauthorized immigrants born in the U.S. On The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi said it's a tactic to drum up his base before the midterms on Tuesday.
What he was saying today has no relationship to what his authority is. But that's, of course, not unusual.
House Speaker Paul Ryan also pointed out the president cannot change the 14th Amendment all on his own.
Well, you obviously cannot do that. You cannot end birthright citizenship with an executive order.
This morning, Press Secretary Sarah Sanders doubled down on the president's promise.
Look, there are a number of legal scholars that think that there is certainly a lot of ground. But the big issue here that you have to look at is the reason we're in this position in the first place. And that's because Democrats in Congress have failed to help fix our broken immigration system.
The president said White House lawyers are reviewing his proposal. It's unclear how quickly he would act on an executive order.
Democrats seemingly just have to say, hey, listen, interesting, Mr. President, we'll see you in court. In the meantime, let's get back to some of the silliness that you're doing, including preparing for war against a caravan of Hondurans that are, you know, just falling by the wayside and are weeks away. So it's outrageous. And the Democrats haven't put immigration issues together here. Is that right? That is, if there's any bipartisan fault on any issue in America, it is this one. And although he wants to throw up a wall and he wants to, just rally the base with agitation, I don't remember seeing the comprehensive program from the president on immigration reform. Do you? No. Coming back home, this headline is affecting the speaker's race. He's only got a week before Election Day, like everybody else. And, we talked about this last night with Ted Nesi and Joe Fleming on our poll last evening. If you missed some of that data, you can see the show, of course, at foxprovidence.com. Here's what they filed latest on Eyewitness News last night.
Political opponents of House Speaker Nicholas Mattiello decrying his handling of sexual harassment allegations made against the chair of the powerful House Judiciary Committee.
This is not some Mickey Mouse committee. The Judiciary Committee is one of the most important committees, and he chairs it. and he knew about this. He doesn't deny it.
In a taping for Friday's episode of Dan York's State of Mind, Mattiello's opponent for his House seat in Cranston, Republican Steve Frias, questioned the way Mattiello reacted to Representative Catherine Kazarian's claims she was harassed by Rep. Cale Keeble. Mattiello removed Keeble from his leadership post on Monday.
When you have to fire your chairman 90 minutes after allegations came out that you've been lingering for years, you know that you haven't handled this the right way.
Mattiello's campaign spokeswoman says Frias is politicizing a highly sensitive situation. In a statement to Eyewitness News, Mattiello himself says, quote, "In every session there arises conflicts of many kinds between representatives. When I am made aware of issues, I pride myself in trying to resolve them expeditiously. I find it suspicious that 1 week before an election, reports are surfacing about events which date back many years involving these representatives. This is clearly another attempt by the ultra-progressive to impact this election cycle." Meanwhile, Providence State Rep. Raymond Hull is calling on fellow House lawmakers to oust Mattiello as Speaker, saying, "I'm not a progressive coming after the Speaker. I'm a decent human being who's offended at the way he treated a female colleague and his repeated failure to show respect to women in this chamber."
Listen, this is pretty simple. The Speaker popped Mr. Keeble from the Judiciary chairmanship 90 minutes after Ted Nesi's story. You don't do that unless you've got cause. So if the progressives out there, and they're tough on the ground, no doubt. If whoever they are, the progressives have brought this falsely to the table, then you stand up and say, hey, listen, I won't be intimidated by false claims. Mr. Keeble seems to be clean as a whistle to me, and we're moving onward and upward. Instead, he popped him 90 minutes after and took him out of the seat. Why? Because he knows the guy's got problems. And he didn't do anything about it. And now folks who are looking to unseat the Speaker for all sorts of reasons, not just the progressives, are laying the lumber on him. It's a pay me now, pay me later type of situation. He played his card incorrectly. He was looking at Mr. Keeble for the majority leader position, for heaven's sakes, a couple of years ago, knowing full well that he had problems. He was warned against that. And he hung on to the guy. Now, loyalty comes with its price, I guess. Stupidity comes with a higher price. Now look, the Speaker is always welcome here. We offered him a chance to come on this week, and reportedly he has no time. He has no time. He usually has time for me. That tells me this one's a little too sticky, and too much common sense is on the table here to deal with. In the meantime, the governor, she even jumped in.
Everybody deserves to be able to go to work in a harassment-free environment. These allegations are disturbing, and this is the sort of stuff that erodes the public's confidence in the government. But I do know that there should be no tolerance in any workplace for sexual harassment.
Yeah, so the governor gets some face time to make some perfect common sense, because this has been played out so stupidly. Meanwhile, in the governor's race, the guy who reportedly is trailing by 11 points in the latest Eyewitness News, Roger Williams Fleming poll, is pounding away at the governor. He alleged yesterday that she's made $1 billion worth of mistakes. Well, UHIP is worth $600 and some odd million, the big computer brain that doesn't seem to work quite right. She inherited that project, but she also has shown a lack of competency in getting that done. I don't know that the total list of mistakes add up to $1 billion, but this is the kind of thing that Fung probably should have been doing out of the gate, not getting all caught up with Joe Trillo. It might be too little, too late, right, on that. But, of course, a day doesn't go by with the Fung campaign showing that they are B-, C+ at best. Here's a headline. The press secretary for Alan Fung had to resign last night when somebody found tweets that he sent out 6 years ago or so when he was in college. Bad language, racial overtones. Listen, this young man is exactly that. He's a kid. I know him. I've employed him. He's a good guy. He was not up to this gig. I said so when Fung hired him. Knew it. But you know what the point was? Well, we don't have a lot, whatever. You know what? Who you surround yourself with matters. Competency matters. Alan Fung didn't have a big day yesterday because this blew up on him, unfortunately for him. By the way, Mr. Augustus resigned with that tweet. I deeply regret the tweets I made in college. Read your Twitter feed if you want the details on that. In the meantime, let us go to the case at hand. Here was the Warwick Post headline. To be honest with you, I don't expect to have an omniscient capability when it comes to campaigns and that kind of a thing, but you, my old friend, slipped past me on this one. You've been running this mayoral campaign and hardly a word outside the city of Warwick. How have you been doing that? By the way, welcome. Nice to see you.
Thank you. It's good to see you too.
What? How long has this campaign been going on?
Well, I did get into this race late.
Yeah. How late?
Well, at the time I pulled the papers at the time that you could pull papers in June. Okay. So that's when I actually made the decision. I prepared to run, ironically, in 2010. So that's why I had a lot of preparation and groundwork already done. But at that time, then Mayor of Warwick, he had told me he was leaving. He had decided to stay to complete some other projects, like Rocky Point, things like that. So when Mayor of Warwick resigned, my phone started ringing off the hook. And it was a big decision, you know, to get back into this again, because it's been a while. So were you
drafted or you decided? Both. I always get a little leery over the I was drafted thing.
Both, because I had a lot of people call me and ask me to run. So when you get those types of calls, I'm going to tell you, I mean, my entire political career, it was always somebody asking me to run. And I've always, I mean, I've talked about that to groups when, you know, candidacy groups and things like that. If you see somebody in the public that you think would do a good job, to call them out, because a lot of times it's not on their radar screen. And in this case, I just thought back to when I first got into this. I was the third in the series after Senator John Chafee passed away. You know, then Link, who was our mayor, was appointed to his dad's seat. We had a special election where Scott Evedition won. But when Scott ran that time, he had like 12 other opponents. So I thought the field was going to be, you know, ripe with all types of people, and no one was coming forward, and no one was coming forward. And quite frankly, Dan, I was looking at my resume and I thought, boy, the timing's really right for me for this, and I think I have the right skill set to, you know, be the next mayor.
All right, so acting Mayor Joe Solomon is in the hunt, obviously, and is running. So this is a two-person race, right? For all intents and purposes. We'll talk about why Sue thinks she should be the choice when we come back. Stay with us. So this was an interesting little ditty in the Cranston Herald a couple of days ago. Scott Evedition popped into an event that you were doing there. He's been very quiet on this race as well. Well, the race is quiet. Is the race quiet, Sue Stenhouse, because there's a fait accompli that Joe Solomon's just going to win this thing? Or is it just something that's happening intra the city of Warwick and you're handling this? You told me on the radio the other day that social media plays a really significant role, and that's kind of the place where this whole thing is being fought? Well,
I'm going to tell you, the big surprise to me entering the race for this go-around has been how much the, you know, campaign communications and things have changed. And also, it's much more retail politics. I'm doing where I am literally out in the community meeting people nonstop and canvassing. I'm doing all types of where I'm actually meeting the constituents and the voters. And the reason why is because things have changed so much. Before, when I ran in 2006, the project
for Secretary of State.
For Secretary of State.
You were a Warwick City Councilor at the time.
Correct.
Right. I was. And how many terms did you do that?
I was 4 terms on the Warwick City Council.
So I mean, you're a legacy person in the city of Warwick. You're not some gadfly popping out of nowhere here. But you were saying when you ran in 2006, you learned what?
Well, the Projo was much more viable at that time, and we had a West Bay section, and the West Bay section followed local races. Now it just seems like there's a lot more focus currently on the gubernatorial races, the statewide races, and then obviously the senatorial seat. So it's shifted. And so I have had to depend a lot more on social media, but then again, we've got an aging population, so that's why that handshaking is so important to me and getting out and meeting the senior population, because a lot of them aren't on social media or get emails.
So is Scott Abedisian fully endorsing you?
Yes.
Okay. Is that, listen, Scott's a good guy. He was mayor forever, but he's left some baggage. You got a budget problem there, and you got some situations going on, and we'll talk about in the next segment. Is that endorsement still carrying its proper weight?
It is, and I think
because?
Well, when I'm out there, people loved Scott. There's been stability for 18 years, and I think people are seeing some of the chaos that you're referring to is a bit political this year. I mean, some of it is not, you know, based on the news that we've had, but Scott is very much revered in that city, and people do love him there. And so, but I don't know if you know this, but I also received endorsements from 4 leading Democrats, former city council presidents, a former mayoral candidate, and Michael Brophy, even one of Joe Solomon's opponents in the primary, who is a progressive, endorsed me. So I'm getting endorsements across the board, and the reason I think that's important is because the skill set I have needs to bring people together, and we need to collaborate. And I feel like Warwick is stuck right now, and to have us go forward.
Stuck how and why?
I feel like we're stuck in a time warp a little bit. We haven't been moving forward. If you go around the airport, for example, there's all types of fencing up. It almost looks like a war zone over there. There's been no development. I feel like we need somebody who's going to be championing. I'm sorry, for those things.
So juxtapose an endorsement from the long-term mayor, who, for the most part, is responsible for the good and the stuck.
But we're so in the city of Warwick, in our charter, there is 3 branches of our government that are equal. It is the mayor, it is the school committee, and it is the city council. And the city council ratifies the budget, but it also ratifies all the contracts. And so that's a big reason why I'm running, because I feel like Joe Solomon is also part of that problem. It goes hand in hand. If they weren't working together, if Joe was an obstructionist on things that Scott wanted to get done, he shoulders a lot of the responsibility as well for the state of affairs.
You and he had any local debates?
We did. We had one about a week or 2 ago.
How did that go?
It went really well.
It went well because?
I felt like...
What was the thing you and he most tangled over, if any?
Well, I've been calling him out on a lot of things. On the budget, they put forth a maximum tax increase this year. It's the largest tax, so they went to the full 4% to cap that's allowed by state law. It's the largest tax increase that we've had in 26 years. That's under now Democratic leadership. It's an all-Democratic city council.
So how would you resolve that? How would you consolidate, make efficient, and have the trains run on time? You got some big union issues there, no doubt about that.
Yes.
Big ones. You got a plan for that? Well, why don't we talk about that when we come back? We'll lay out Sue's thoughts on that. Stay with us. So we have spent an extraordinary amount of time on the Warwick firefighters' sick day scheme, for lack of a better term, and now it's bled over to East Greenwich, and we're following that, and we're going to have a conversation with the town manager of East Greenwich tomorrow night about what's going on with the side deals, as they're becoming known to be, in East Greenwich. She's actually, coincidentally, a Warwick resident who understands what's going on here. Ken Block, Rob Cody, Citizen Watchdogs have brought that to our attention. In totality, Sue, if you're running for mayor, you're going to have to deal with that. If you're saying that the budget is out of whack, you know, maximum tax increase, but for a long time, I think the unions in Warwick have, well, this guy Cody's been on him like, you know what, on a you know what. I think in some ways very legitimately. He's looking for a fight all the time. That's not your style. Are you too soft today? And I say soft because that's what some of the pundits in Warwick will tell me. She's too nice, she's too soft. You talk about cooperation and coordination and all of that. there's some tough situations that have to be resolved in that city.
I think one of the nicest compliments I've been told since I've been in office, well, two. One, that I'm a diplomat versus a politician because I can get things done. But also people say I'm tough, but I'm fair. And I think that's the most critical part of it. But, you know, going to the firefighters union, and as I told you on the radio show last week, I mean, I was quite flabbergasted by the notion of a side deal in the first place, because
so true. There's the mayor, the former mayor, reportedly Abedisian says, I didn't even know about this.
Right. Well, yeah, but okay, here's another thing. I was, you know, I've been listening to Mr. Cody and Ken Block on your show. They were here recently. Right. But remember, he also indicated that he made Joe Solomon aware of this 2 years ago. Joe Solomon, as the council president, had a fiduciary duty to follow up on it and to find out if, you know, Mr. Cody was right or not. So to put all the blame on Mayor Abedisian is not accurate, and that's why I'm here to call out Joe Solomon as well. He had that responsibility. If a constituent brought it to him and it was that serious, he shouldn't have yesed him. He needed to look into it at that time. That was, according to Mr. Cody and Ken Block, 2 years ago. So there's a little responsibility there, too.
Totality, there's just so much of that particular case that we need a whole show. In totality, what is it specifically that you think you're going to bring to the table for discipline on the economics of the city of Warwick that'll be different than what's been going on lately?
Well, I see, so this is where I get excited, because I see the opportunities for partnerships and ways of doing things differently. So for an example, I've been on the planning board. So since I got off the city council and have been out of the governor's office, I have been on the planning board for the city of Warwick. So I've stayed in touch with development issues. And I helped to create the comprehensive plan for the city center around the airport. So I see opportunities of working with the airport, getting things done, revitalizing that whole plan, and just staying on it and getting it going. And that's one thing that I feel has been missing, is somebody who's going to champion that.
We only got about a minute. The quality of life in Warwick is what? Short answer.
Quality of life is excellent. We're a city of a collection of villages, and it's wonderful. And I think the rhetoric doesn't match the quality of life. Okay,
but the improvement is, short answer, what? The necessary improvement is what?
New ways of doing things. Instead of looking at today, looking at tomorrow and new innovations. There's new technologies, there's new ways of doing things, and not doing the same old, repeating the same old mistakes.
Give me 10 seconds on why you should be elected.
I have an excellent resume. I have worked in city government, state government, have worked with federal officials. I've also worked in the private sector, so I know the issues inside and out. I am genuinely engaged in the community, have never stopped. I don't bolster my resume in an election year.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you, Dan.
Now it's not so stealth. Final word next. And Joe Solomon, the acting mayor, told us he didn't have the availability to do the program this week. We'll give him one more shot. We could squeeze him into the Thursday show. So, Joe, if you want to come in for some time and respond to Ms. Stenhouse, you're more than welcome to do so. But times are wasting. Election day is Tuesday of next week. We'll see you at 3 on the radio tomorrow on WPRO. We're on location tomorrow over at Kenny O's Ristorante in Smithfield. Then we're going to watch the debate, the last gubernatorial debate. It's going to be fun, so maybe you join us. We'll be back here tomorrow night. See ya.